Hi, my name is Israel Vasquetelle, and welcome to the Turntable, a roundtable discussion featuring entertainment and music business students, artists, and anyone with a vested interest in the music industry. And our guest today is a rapper from Jacksonville, Florida, SomeSay. And SomeSay, from what I understand, you are intent on bringing back the tenets of original classic hip-hop. Tell me a little bit about that.
So the era I grew up in, the first CD I bought, actually, I didn't buy it, somebody gave it to me, was Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die. And so listening to that CD, I was impressed with his lyrical genius, his skill, everything about what he was saying. Like, though I couldn't personally relate, because at the time I was young, I didn't grow up in the hood like he did, but just how he portrayed a picture of his environment, to me, I was just like, yo, this guy is dope, you know? And of course, around then, you had the Who's Better, Biggie and Tupac battle, and I always say, Biggie was that guy. Tupac was great, but Biggie is that guy. So for me, like, you know, cats like Big, Pac, Tribe Called Quest, Outkast, Nas, Jay-Z, Wu-Tang Clan, like those guys to me were true lyricists. Those guys actually had a message. Even guys before them like Public Enemy, Run DMC, these guys had a message that they relayed in their music. And we've kind of strayed away from that nowadays with hip-hop now. It's more about the beat. Lyrics really don't matter. It's about who's got the hottest song out right now, in my opinion. And so, you know, you have cats like Kendrick and J. Cole and Chance trying to bring back what hip-hop truly was in their own way, but I still think it's overshadowed by who's got the hottest beat.
Indeed, indeed. And speaking of that, I mean, you had these folks that were immense lyricists, you know, and in many ways, those folks kind of, you know, created a reputation for themselves, and that reputation in many ways became their brand. It'd be interesting to learn a little bit from our panel, you know, how branding in hip-hop has changed over the last 20 or so years. What do you folks think?
It has definitely changed. It's focused more on imagery, I think, more so than the lyrics. I think it's the beat and the image that's associated with that beat more so than the lyrics. So
I think just looking at how branding in hip-hop has changed overall in 20 years, it's just because, like, 20 years ago, you would go into the record label like, I'm good at making music, I'm good at rapping, give me a shot. But today you have to build the brand yourself in order to get that back from the label. They want to come work with you once you already built something big for yourself. So I think it's just looking at it like that.
You gotta be a star first before they make you a star.
Social media now has changed the game because, like he was saying, back then you had to go to the label. Now labels look at your Instagram, your Snapchat, SoundCloud. If you have a Facebook page, they look at all of that and they check your following first. And if you have a following already, then they'll come to you versus you going to them. Mm-hmm. So I believe social media has definitely changed the game.
Indeed. So the A&R stomping grounds are more about the metrics on social media as opposed to necessarily the clubs, right? Or
first, it's you know, you have your A&R. They look at the metrics, they look at all the numbers, and then they'll go to the show. And then that's even if they want to go to the show. The first they want to see if you've been on tour first. So you have to go on tour before they'll even look at your show. So yeah, you have to have everything in order. You have to have sales before anyone will even consider signing you.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about the tools of the trade today for building awareness. Clearly, the single is still the staple, right? I mean, it is about the song. However, in hip-hop in particular, you know, it's not just the single, it's also the collection. It's also not just the album, it's the mixtape. So if you folks maybe don't mind talking a little bit about, you know, how does that come into play, where you have, you know, not only a song that you're trying to build awareness for, but in many instances for some of these artists, they're dropping mixtapes like nobody's business. You know, how does that fit into the equation?
Fans don't want to buy music anymore. So then you have My Mixtapes. It's a platform. Artists will put their music on that platform, and then fans like me will just go ahead and listen. People don't want to buy music anymore. So that's why that's why these artists are like, okay, well, if they're not going to buy my music, I still want them to know me. So that's why they have the mixtapes.
Indeed. Yeah.
I think like people drop so many mixtapes and things like that because of how the fans just want so much more new music. You could like put your life into an album and drop it and it'll be received great, but people will forget about it within a week because there was just 20 other albums to drop that they had to listen to. But if you keep flooding with music and keep releasing new stuff, then maybe one will be like a big smash or go viral or something, and then you're able to do more shows and stuff like that to be able to get your name out and even more.
Fast food.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the
Music
mixtape
fast
game
food.
overall has changed. Because when you think about it, mixtapes in the early days were, like Wayne, for example, all his mixtapes, he just took beats from other artists, rapped over them.
Right.
And he gave it out, obviously it's free.
Indeed.
But now mixtapes are almost like an entire album.
Right.
Yeah. And what he was saying about with albums, you can put your heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears into it, and not even 20, say like 6 months to a year later, nobody remembers that album.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think it's also in that aspect, you got to remember or try to create like timeless, something that's going to be timeless. I think we'll probably be talking about Good Kid, Mad City 10, 20 years from now, 2014 Forest Hills Drive 10, 20 years from now, even Coloring Book, the same 10 years from now. We'll probably be talking about those albums. We may even be talking about Future, who to me, I don't think he's the greatest artist, but I respect his work ethic because this man dropped, I think it was like two albums
back to back
this year alone.
Right.
And that's why he has the following he does, because he's continually working and putting out content for his fans, even with Drake. More Life to me right now is probably the best album out right now. And I even like Ross, but if I had to choose, even though they dropped at the same time, I'm kind of going with Drake. But that's because of his work ethic as well.
So are there any other tools? I mean, obviously, if we're talking about getting, mixtapes out there, which producers have also been known to do, a place like that, Piff is important, and you mentioned SoundClick. I mean, what other, SoundCloud. So what other platforms are there that you feel are important for spreading your music?
For producers, there's another website called BeatStars that I just recently found out about. So they can use that. There's even a few artists on there who use it. Like I said, obviously YouTube.
Right.
MySpace, for some weird reason, is making a comeback, which surprised me. I found a lot of people are now getting found out about on MySpace.
Interesting.
Honestly, I've seen producers get discovered the craziest ways. I've seen producers like tweeting artists with like a snippet to a beat and them getting picked up that way. A$AP Rocky picked up a beat from one of his albums off of YouTube. Like even I would post a beat snippet on Twitter just showing it off, and like a rapper with like 200,000 followers hit me back like, send me this before. So it's just creating dope stuff and figuring out which way you want to show it to people and using all the platforms to your advantage.
There are also some producers that will go on tour and then, they'll act as an artist, but they call themselves a producer first.
Right.
So they'll go on tours, whether it be big or whether it be small, and that's how they show off their music that way. Touring's a big way besides, going online to reach a fan base that, would never reach you online.
Right.
Gavi just did that, actually. Gavi, he's an in-house producer for Reach Records, Cray, Andy Mineo, them guys, and he's been known for producing their stuff, but he actually produced his own record, and he put it out, and he actually went on tour with Social Club just recently, and so he, like you said, he tell people, I'm a producer first, but I also am an artist. So that's how he got his sound. It's more of a like pop electric type feel, different, but it's good. Right. It may not be something I listen to all day, every day per se, but it's good.
Right. And on that note, right now, let's check out SomeSay with his brand new single, Action.
Oh, yeah. New single. My eulogy simple as he over eye. Yeah. Woo. You ever meet somebody who they talk a lot, talk a real good game, you know? Eulogy simple as he over eye. But when it boils down to it, see, they ain't about that action. They ain't about that action. See ya acting tough, paparazzi with you. Talking all that noise, boy, them Twitter fingers. Turn them cameras off, you ain't about that action. Put the phones down, you ain't about that action. You ain't about that action, boy. About that action. You ain't about that action, boy. Turn them cameras off, you ain't about that action. Put them phones down, you ain't about that listen. Body, hey listen, now you're mad, standing there looking salty, huh? Under Armour, go to war with anybody. The Rock pushed away the Stone Cold, stunning everybody, huh? See ya acting tough, paparazzi with you. Talking all that noise, boy, them Twitter fingers. Turn them cameras off, you ain't about that action. Put them phones down, you ain't about that action. Say you ain't about that action, boy. About that action. You ain't about that action, boy. Turn them cameras off, you ain't about that action. Put them phones down, you ain't about that action. Culture on the counteract, I'ma bring the counter flow. Study hard to honor roll. West side with a southern flow. Kendrick mixed with cold flow. What matters who I'm living for? Huh? See ya acting tough, paparazzi with you. Talking all that noise, boy, them Twitter fingers. Turn them cameras off, you ain't about that action. Put them phones down, you ain't about that action. About that action, you ain't about that action, boy. About that action, say you ain't about that action, boy. Turn them cameras off, you ain't about that action. Put them phones down, you ain't about that action. My eulogy simple as see over eye, hey. My eulogy simple as see over eye, hey. Eulogy simple as see, eulogy simple, eulogy simple, he over eye.